Yes, sir. Come on in the building. You guys come on in the building. Finna bring TikTok on in, man. And then we in. We are in the building. Come on in the building. Go tell somebody. Go tell somebody. That your homie HerbMan is on. Y'all know how we do it. Your kids ain't gonna let you be great, so you gotta deal with that. How many of you got kids? Put some ones in the chat. You know, kids ain't gonna let you be great, man. I had to write this 1,000 times. It's all good. Yo, good people. It's your homie HerbMan. Busting you back upside the head with another hot banger. Boogie, please go tell somebody. Go tell somebody your homie HerbMan is on. All right. And if you are new to the program, welcome. Please follow, like, share, and subscribe on all the platforms at Love HerbMan. All right. That's how we do it, man. We teach people how to do what? how to heal themselves. You cannot heal yourself if you do not know thyself. All right. So we teach you here about the human frame and the human design so that you can be well on your way to happiness, wholeness, and wellness. All right. So that's what we do. That's what we teach on the HerbMan Show. Look, you guys, this is free information. This is the free information station. All you got to do to pay for this information is simply pay attention. And how you pay attention is by tapping that screen so to get us up to 100. Okay, all right. So we know if you guys keep tapping, I'll keep talking. And the real thing that we come on today about is taking you guys about this particular mechanism called the owner's manual. Now, you guys already know about this if y'all been following me. Okay, if y'all been looking at me any one iota, you already know about how this go. If you don't know, you can put some tools in the chat, and we'll teach you about the owner's manual. All right. But for you guys that do know, we're going to be focusing more on the herbs. Okay. I know you guys are wild and y'all like, oh my God, how I could be so accurate in, let me turn this down real quick. How I could be so accurate in doing this and then doing that, right? And the reason why the accuracy is so proficient is because we're going back to nature with an old ancient system. That's the real reason why it's accurate. Okay. But at the end of the day, we want you to understand that not only is it accurate about finding problems, but it's also good about finding solutions as well. Okay. So you guys want to understand that. All right. It's not only accurate in finding those particular problems, but it's also accurate in finding solutions. So when you're looking at this particular type of dynamic in which we're going back to nature in order to resolve your issues, then you can't be a system designed like this. That's the first and foremost thing you must understand. Okay. You can't be the system designed like this. Okay. It ain't gonna happen. Now, the benefit of it is the herbs and the foods and the particular activities that you got to do. That's the benefit of it. So what we're trying to do is convey over information that if you get back into alignment with nature and understanding the opposition effect of things, then you could be well on your way to happiness, wholeness, and wellness into what you call the vegetation or the agricultural state, right? Going back to nature to eat the right foods, get the right herbs, and do whatever. Now, if you're looking at a product, you could say that this is a product, but really it's a program. There's not one product that could really get you back into alignment with nature the way that you need to in order for you to walk into 120 years old upright. So it must be a programming that you must understand that has to take place in order for you to be able to get the essence of what 120 years look like in this paradigm. So you must understand the importance of taking care of the physical self. Now, if the physical self is being described to me as being the lower self, being the hyper conscious self, being the animated self, being the one that is actually doing the living as far as in the physical, but also being the one that's more privy to deterioration in the physical. See, got to listen to what I just said because I got about 5 folk in the back that say they ain't got a hearing aid back there. See, so if I'm living in this physical paradigm and he's trying to teach us that 120 years is applicable, but we must understand the pace of the physical self so that we can understand that the physical self can deteriorate under these particular conditions. It's because of oxygen is important for your lungs, but oxygen is the component that deteriorates the outer layers of your skin. So now you become aging. So the whole big thing to aging is what? Antioxidants. Well, what's the oxy? Oxygen. Okay. So the fact that you require oxygen to handle in the lungs also makes you privy to deterioration of the fleshly skin of the body. Man, y'all better tap that screen, man. Y'all better tap that screen, man. Y'all want to get this conversation today. Y'all better tap that screen. Y'all want to get this conversation today. When I come over here, I don't play no games, all right? We don't play no game. We're coming live from South Africa, all right? So now understand that understanding lower self is not necessarily the negative me, because we don't look at this higher and lower in the context of good and bad. We look at it in the context of necessary and necessary, which is opposition that must formulate a particular friction that creates a particular life dynamic. And in this rubbing together, in this frictioning together, is the word reproduction, coming from the aspect of what mind create thought and what thought create action. And in this precipice of breakdown of thought creating what friction creating action, I mean thought and thought creating action, then we must understand that that's how product is being made. That's how energy is being utilized. That's how life is living. Friction creating thought and thought creating action. So in this dynamic of lower self and high self consciousness, it's going to create a friction that then creates a thought that over time can create an action. And in that understanding, now we understand that it is the physical element that must pace itself through this paradigm in order to reach eternity. So when you're talking about an eternal life, the science in that is how to prep and preserve the human shell. Y'all go about your business now. I'm through. Y'all go about your business now. The whole science behind this thing is to protect human shell. How to get through this paradigm without aging. And so this is what comes into play. The rest, the relaxation, the sleep, and the meditation to slow the breathing. The art to the slow of the breathing is to live in contentment. What causes you to really breathe fast is stress, the stress of living. But the contentment of this paradigm creates the euphoria, the relaxation, the rest, and what the peace that I'm talking about is. It's a little deeper than these words on this board. But it is a serenity. It is a total compliance with the shift and the movement and the flow and the ebbs of life, to understand that nature is giving you all that you desire and need, where there is no need to want or desire. And in that contentment is bliss. Now that's easier said than done, so don't get it twisted. But that's true rest, relaxation, sleep, and meditation within the bosom of this particular paradigm we call life. That when it's time to eat, food will come. When it's time for shelter, shelter will come. When it's time for this will come. And not because you can't build it or use it, but at the end of the day, you're still utilizing the map of life, which is your owner's manual for your measly, funky little $50. This is what we give to you for nothing but a birthday. And with your birthday, we call it the manufacturing date, is when we take you along this ride around the life circle. So using me for an example, I am a Gemini, so I'm here. I'm approximately 45 years old today, so we say 10, 20, 30, 40, 5. Okay? So each of these quadrants or each of these triangles or each of these pieces of the pies are life lessons, but there are also 10-year spans of learning a functionality in life. Gemini is always about the communicative side of life, the social butterfly, okay? The social aware person. The Gemini is the connector of the airwaves, okay? But at the same time, when the sun is in Gemini in the northern hemisphere, it is also in Sagittarius in the southern hemisphere. which now is quantified to be also another part of the Gemini that the Gemini does not know anything about because it's not considered the rising or the ascendant or anything. It's the two suns. Because the sun never died, when it's over here, it's also here somewhere doing something else. Okay? So when the sun is in Gemini, it is in Sagittarius. So every Gemini has some Sagittarian qualities, and every Sagittarius has some Geminian qualities. Now, how you will see this is in the features. You will see that a lot of Geminis will have eye conditions. And you'll see that a lot of Sagittarius will have nervous conditions or have lung conditions. Just simple and plain. You'll see that a lot of Geminis are nearsighted and farsighted and got eye problems. They didn't even know how they got it. Eye injuries. But it ain't because of the Geminis, it's because of the Sagittarius. See? A lot of Geminis can have hip issues, around the hips and lower back issues. That's Sagittarius qualities. So to ignore the other sun sign in you can allow you to neglect a part of you or to excessively abuse a part of you that you didn't know or do know you got, but you don't know the other side. However you want to roll that up. So now in this life circle, I have not only got my particular starting point, which is my Gemini, but I've also got my destination because my starting point is my destination. Because in order to be 120 years old around this life cycle, when I make it back to Gemini, is approximately 120 years old. Okay? So now that that's being said, where am I? So this is just like a GPS system to where not only are you getting your current location, you're also getting your destination. Now, how cool is that? That somebody can now track you in life, map you in life. And this is the old ancient system of our ancestors, blessing us back with some of this knowledge to be able to get us back in tune and in alignment with what thus says the calendar of life. And this is the sun, this is the ecliptic of the sun. But this is also the symbology of infinity. So now, not only have I got my starting point, I've also got my destination because my starting point is my destination. This is the actual full cycle around the sun. It's not every year that this happened. This is a lifetime. And this is the true rebirth, in my opinion. So now I've tracked myself and said, okay, now boom, 10, 20, 30, 40, and 5 years, I'm in Libra, in the fall of life. Okay, learning. When you're in the fall of life, this is the responsible time of life. But this is also a time where things will come and go. Things are leaving, fall, leaves, the season of the leaves. So you can find that when you're in the fall season of life, there'll be some things that are leaving. Okay. It could be some relationship issues, which I did suffer in this particular time of Libra, right? But also you have some things about career that will start to diminish. You may have some things about your love life or your ability to be fertile in life start to diminish in the falls of life, the leaves. Okay, because this is just a moment in a season in life. Now, because these are all 10 years in triangular institutions, then we must understand that there are 30 years per season. So you can spend 30 years in the spring learning 3 different life lessons because each lesson is 10 years. You can spend 30 years in the summer learning 3 different types of lessons, teaching you about the passion and the dynamicism and the temperamental skills that you can possess within those summer months. Like winter may teach you about your emotional abilities, your nurturing abilities, while spring may teach you about your social, your intellectual abilities. Huh? And you growing and developing in these things. All right? Winter and all these other different things. And fall may teach you about your reliability and your practicality and your standing on business type mentality that you will get when you're in the fall season of life. So when things leave, you get grounded. When things leave, you can be more reliable. When things leave, you can be more practical with understanding how the things come. So you get these tools that you're going to be needing to get you through these particular things. And you get all of this for your measly little 50 funky dollars now. We give you this. All you got to do is give us your birthday. We don't need no hair sample, no blood sample, no blood type. We don't need no urine sample, no stool sample. We ain't going to prod you, prick you, poke you, stab you. It's non-invasive, non-intrusive. All we looking for is a birthday. And you start getting where you're at in this map. So now things start to make sense to me on why I got a divorce a couple years ago. Because I was in Libra in the fall. But now things matter to me why relationships is a whole nother different dynamic and journey for me now, objective for me now, because I'm in that season. It makes sense now. And if you're a Gemini and you're around 40 something years old, 45, 46 years old, you're in the same position as me. Now you could be younger ages and older ages and still be at this point. But you got to know where you at. That's half the battle. That is to me the biggest thing that you're getting in that owner's manual. If y'all really learn how to look at this as your biological clock, look at this as the wheel, and start to track yourself around that wheel, you'll be all right, because then you'll understand the seasons. You'll understand it's 3 months to a year. I mean, it's 3 months to a season. So 3 months is the equivalent of 10 years. I mean, of the 10 years, right? So 30 years. So Aries, which is March the 21st to April the 21st, is going to be 10 years. But in this situation, it's 30 days. But in reality, it's 10 years of a lesson. So you're going through stuff every minute, every moment, every second, every hour, every day, every week, every month, every year, and then you got to do it for a lifetime. So what I'm giving you is the lifetime clock. It's almost if anybody's ever day traded, you got where you can just span all the way out for a few years to see how that money is trending, right? So that's what this is. This is your trend. Are you bulling or are you bearing? Okay. If y'all know anything about trading, are you bull or are you bearish today? Are you bullish or are you bearish today? Right? And so you're starting to understand where you at from the holistic point, the whole view, the 360 view. And then we can narrow it down into where you at in the life and pinpoint you. Where before we've been trying to pinpoint you without pinpointing the remedies with that same methodology. What we're using in the owner's manual is an old ancient system, but that's also spitting out herbs and foods suggestions. No, I gotta say suggestions that are also going to be quantifying with that old ancient system, putting new information in an old time slot, old time machine, old mathematical equation. You know, one of them things that you dig up and you find. That's what we did. We digged up and we found. So we went excavating. See, when you go researching, you know, you go digging. So we don't find the old mathematical time clock. Come on, somebody. Y'all keep tapping, man. I keep talking, man. Let's get us up to 100K. See, I don't win it or found the old mathematical time clock, right? That knows how to put nothing but birthday in and spit out suggestions of how to get balanced in nature, spiritually, physically, and holistically. And he said all for a funky measly $50. And he don't need no poking, no prodding, no doctors. I don't need no diagnosis, no self-prognosis. I don't need no nothing. Don't tell me nothing about what nobody said to give me birthday. And let mama do the rest. It's the most downright diabolical system on the planet. You can't learn it nowhere else but here. Okay? You can't learn it nowhere else but here. Right? And what we love about this system is that it's helping us with our health needs and our health concerns. But we're not necessarily just talking about old relationships and old money and all that type of stuff. Now, we do have something for relationships. If you guys want to go to the website, you can type in perfect match and you can do that as well. But we use this primarily and want to be known for primarily of this information called the owner's manual, spitting out health advice for you to be able to get well on your way back into a holistic mindset, not only spiritually, but also physically. Get your body back into homeostasis. We're not just talking about something that is plaguing your significant others. We're not just talking about something that is plaguing you in particular. We're talking about a thing that is plaguing us all if we do not understand our health dynamic. And so instead of sitting here trying to poke and prod you about a thing that can cause you to just heal your kidneys, heal your cancer, heal your this and heal your that, we would be foolish to continue to keep pushing that narrative. What we're now telling people to do and understanding is if you do more research, is that there is a collage of different herbs and collage of different lifestyle things that you can do to get yourself back happy, whole, and well again. And it's been proven time after time that when you combine environment with right food products, with right herbal supplementation, that you can reverse a situation in its late stages. Okay. Now that doesn't mean that you got a thing that's just gonna bring you back to life. But you do have some things that can also make those times actually a lot more soothing, or you can also reverse them. Just as good as medications have always been since the beginning of time. So, what we're teaching you guys is an old system that they used to be able to utilize that could record the date of your birth as well as the date in which an incident happened. Now, we don't talk a lot about the decumbrature, but the decumbrature is another part of this that can say, okay, this is when you were born and this is when the incident happened, and now let's add those two up to figure out exactly what we can do and what we need to do. But we've been able to discover that this old ancient system is not only a clock of life, but it's also very suggestive and very effective at being able to quantify characteristics, different model of species of humans. So now we're understanding that we got at least 12 different types of human species on the planet. That just because you are a male and a female doesn't mean you're the same. Even if you're two black men, don't mean you're the same. If you're two black, just because you're two men, a black and a white man, ain't the same. This is prevalent based on this ancient knowledge that there's at least 12 different types of human species. So we know that then you must get into specificity on what it requires to balance a human species out. What causes one person high blood pressure may not necessarily be the same herbs that you would give another person, especially if the prones or the tendencies, right? The tendencies are showing. So we're able to dictate the model of the species from the manufacturing date, which is your birthday. Then we quantify the characteristics from the two sun signs. Then we get the actual foods and herbs based on the understanding of the pineal system, which is what we call the seven chakras or the 12 life path numbers. However you want to put this is also the 9 planets, et cetera, et cetera. Everything is quantified in this particular thing, but this is the spiritual aspects of it as well as the physical. But this is where you really start to get into the spiritual contents of the diseases. If you have a disease, we can tell what's going on in your life spiritually. If you don't, if you don't believe me, then tell me what disease you're dealing with and watch this. If you don't believe me, just tell me what disease you're dealing with and watch me tell you. Okay? You can tell you what's going on in your life spiritually based on your diseases. So that becomes a part of the whole readout for that measly little $50. So you get that as well. So now you're getting characteristics, you're getting foods, you're getting the herbs that you need, you're getting the spiritual and physical tendencies. And if you're dealing with any of the physical, obviously all of the other stuff will work for you. You're also getting activities in there that you would need and all that type of stuff. Somebody said alopecia. So alopecia is an autoimmune disease. So right here off the rip, when you're looking at autoimmune disease, you got to be looking at this right here, the air element, right? So grief and depression. So now when you go back to Nathaniel the Great, what happened to you when you were dealing with alopecia, or somebody who was dealing with alopecia, or when the diagnosis came, you got to look at grief and depression, sadness and loss. See, the loss of hair is due to the loss of something. Sadness and loss, grief and depression. Okay? All right? And you ain't even got to say nothing on here. And if you wasn't dealing with it and you was born with it, then and that thing the great said, dang, that's deep. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you. So it's real though, right? So again, we keeping it affordable, but it's no longer for you to be able to keep on tricking off your money to treatments that don't work. Right? You're tricking off your money to herbalists that don't know you, doctors that don't know you, pastors that don't know you. Because hell, we all need this reading. The pastors, the doctors, everybody need to know this information. So there's missing pieces to them that they ain't been able to figure out. So how they gonna figure out missing pieces to you? See, when we all go back to looking at each other from a human dynamic and a human frame, and we realize that we're all in this thing together and we're all fighting together, then it is incumbent upon the person who does the best research to look at things objectively in the 360-degree paradigm in which you should see life anyway. Nobody should be here and not be equipped to see this particular paradigm in the eagle's eye perspective. Let me repeat that for the 4 or 5 of y'all that caught that in the back with the hearing aid. There should not be not one of you guys that come through this paradigm and not be able to see this particular paradigm in the 360-degree vantage point, in the eagle's eye perspective. To come into this paradigm and not be able to get to this point and see this in the eagle's eye perspective from the top down is a travesty. That's why you see a lot of people refer to, I seen the mountaintop. I've been to the mountaintop. I seen the promised land. It's because you've been able to, at some point, you know, a lot of people say they want an astral plane. They want to ascend. It's because of this eagle's eye perspective, this vantage point of life that life can give you. But it's not for the everybody, but it's for everybody, if that makes sense. What I'm saying is that it's accessible to each of us, but life already knows that there's only going to be a few of us that can climb Jacob's ladder. But this is a program that can be implemented in the average person, and that was the secret. The secret was don't let everybody know how to assess this. If we, as a sacred understanding, are the only ones that can know this, then we can utilize this to profit off of, which is what you call the healthcare system. Okay? Do I need to say any more, y'all? Or can I stop right now? What's going on YouTube? How y'all doing over there, man? Y'all got questions? I want my owner's manual. Yes, sir. That hey, the trail, man. All y'all got to do is just go to the website, man. Type in email. Yeah. That's how y'all got to do. What's going on, YouTubers? For you TikTokers, y'all can go on over there to YouTube as well and subscribe, man, and keep us going. So understanding what I just told you there is the sacredness. So now you see this image as the caduceus of the medical system. Snake wrapped around crop. It's sacred science, the healing of the human frame. you and I'm gonna challenge you guys. If you go back to Genesis and you read after Eve them did a little bit before that, it says something about he wasn't gonna let man live forever anymore. Y'all go look that one up. Said, okay, we'll recreate him, but we're not gonna let him live for forever. Or we're gonna forgive him, but he can't live for forever no more. Y'all remember that? So now at the end of the day, you got to look at this as a mental thing. Because ain't nobody heard God say that. So now in a mind way, if this book is about the brain, if somebody says that the Bible is about the brain and it's about my mind, and if they make a reference like that, what is that saying about my mind, HerbMan? How is that a reference to my mind when a God says that he won't let Adam live for forever anymore? Thank you for asking. If Adam represents the body, the Lord's self, and Eve represents the mind, the higher, and thought was the snake and entered into the thought entered into the mind, and the body followed. That's how you operate. Thought enter into your mind, and then your body follow. That's how you get the Chick-fil-A. That's how you get them pig feet in the pot. Thought enter into your mind, and then your ass going in there to that kitchen, into that car, to that drive-thru. That's how the bill get in your hand. That's how the weed get in your hand. That's how the shit get in your hand. That's how the dope get in your arm. That's how the blunt get lit. That's how the baby get made. That's how the bill get paid. That's how the folk going down. You get to work. Thought enter into the mind, and then the body follow. So that right there was giving you an understanding of who Adam was, the body. So in reference to saying that the Adam won't live no more or can't forever live is what I've been teaching you. It's about the body. So the sacred secret was always how to preserve Adam. I'm trying to teach y'all something, man. So the thing is, it's not that Adam is the objective, but it is, but in a different way. Adam is the baby is the body. The mind been here a long time. But the mind is a mind, so it created a body with a spine on it. Y'all know I had them folders. That's how smart a mind is. It created a human skeletal support system, which is what you call in your Asian skin, African skin, and but that's a spacesuit of a mind. Mind created his own spacesuit. So mind is smart, but can only live a particular time in this paradigm due to the physical stress on the body, Adam, in this situation. The only thing that can save pressure from being on Adam is Eve being functional. Hey, y'all keep on, man. Look at my shit already be at 100K. All right. The only way to keep pressure from being on your adrenals and your kidneys and your blood pressure. The only way to keep pressure from being on your ability to procreate and having reproductive issues and the only way to release the weight off your blood sugar and your pancreas and your liver and gallbladder is to have your higher self operate more functionally and more a part of the duty in this paradigm. If this is a 50-50 duty and you put 100% pressure on a body, you won't make it to 120 years old. If the test was for me to do 50% of this paradigm physically and the other 50 spiritually, you can't survive it all the way through physically. I remember when I was in the military and when we had a swimming test, I was in the Navy, and we should jump off this little 20 or 40 meter a diving board, and you just jump straight off. It ain't got no diving board attached to it, so it just step off. Boom. And some of the people felt like just because it was a minute or two that you needed to float, that they could do that dog pedaling. And you think, okay, a minute or two, okay, I could do that until, and when you can't touch the bottom of a water or ocean, and you just depend on a minute or two, you'll start cramping in your legs. Your legs will start cramping after just 60 seconds of thinking that you can just rely on that leg power. Then you'll realize that frustration ain't the best thing to do during chaos. It's relaxation. So I quickly understood that I'm gonna go under because my legs gonna tighten up if I keep dog pedaling. And these folks sitting here telling these folks, you gotta float on your back. So in chaotic moments, you gotta learn how to relax. In this natural physical realm is going to, yes, allure to the Lord self, because it is the Lord self attracted realm. The realm is what we attracted it. We could turn the realm into a spiritually enlightened and feminine energy realm. Our energy exudes always and vibrates from nature. When nature gets violent, man gets violent. When nature turns hot and dry, man turns hot and dry. You see that in the summer times when you get the most murders. You see? So it's in these times, cold and wet. That's the emotional time. Well, what we do in the winter, tend to cuddle up, get a little emotional with your family. Yeah. So you're vibrating with nature. So it is because of us being in this lower self paradigm that lower self paradigm seems to work. But the pressure on the physical body won't allow you to get to everlasting. You cannot make it to everlasting life. And you cannot really understand what the value in what I'm teaching you if you don't understand true balance. And all I'm saying to you is that at some point you cross over in these realms and you don't know where you at. See, right here, I automatically know that the next 60 years, because this is 30 years, I just got here. So the next 60 years, I'm in a more spiritual time of my life. Less physical, more spiritual things, more spiritual lessons will have to be made. Now, I'm going to do this in my latter life, but you could do this in your beginning life. You can go through this, and it just depends on who you are and where you at. But now it's preparing me. I can't tell you what storms gonna come, but I can be prepared for them when they do. I got my raincoat on. I got my mud boots handy. So that whenever the seasons come now, I have it in my disposal. This is the best preventative method on the planet as well. For a funky measly little $50 given for your children, and just start charting them around this thing as they grow up and start to understand how to be there for them and what they're going through and why they're going through it. Period. You can't stop nothing, but you can sure be prepared for it. All right. More spiritual lessons in my ladder too. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Yes, I say shalom. Hope all is well with everyone today. What's going on from Houston, Texas? Yes, sir. We coming live from South Africa, man. So we appreciate all the love. Again, you guys. just man, please DM me and we'll get you that information, okay? So now we're talking about the herbs. You know what I mean? That was the biggest thing was the herbs, right? Let's get us up to 50K, you guys. We're almost at an hour, okay? So now we're talking about the herbs. So let's get somebody give me a birthday real quick. Let me show you what the herbs looking like, right? And understanding that these herbs carry some of the most critical things um, as far as vitamins and minerals in them, right? So we're not just throwing herbs out at you, but we're giving you herbs that have some essential vitamins and minerals that also follow the fundamental principles of the sun's dynamic. So it's nothing outside of this system, okay, that we're offering you guys. Everything is coming out of this system, and there's been so many things that has been created that has not been synchronized in the way that this system has done it. So when you got traditional Chinese methodology in this, you have Ayurvedic principles in here, you have traditional African methodologies in here, you also have the Western herbalism and Native Indian understanding as well is in here, and a few other things as well. From the zodiacal, from the medical field, from just the herbs and the materia medica, and all these different aspects of the dietitians, the foods, all this stuff is in here: psychological, physiological, biological, biochemistry, whatever it is. From spirituality, all that type of stuff is in the system. So it's not a product anymore, it's a program of now understanding, damn, I can not only track myself through life, but damn, I can also get a blueprint on how to repair myself when problems arise. And also know my tendencies so I can cater more to those things that I tend to neglect over the things that I tend to be excessive in, so that I can have a more quality of upbringing through life, to where I understand that it's not just about me being the best at one or two things when life has offered me these dynamical things to be addressing, so that I could be balanced in all these things. See, so when you coming into this dynamic, it ain't for you to leave out the best, it's for you to leave out balance. That's the B that you should be looking for. It's not for you to come into this thing and try to leave out the best at something, because you're gonna leave something else behind. The dynamic is to come into this thing and leave out balanced. Balance. Dialysis is an imbalance in the kidneys. Kidneys are a balance of the pH system in the 1994, right? So we know that 1994, when you end up at this 9, it's going to be 19. Plus 4 is 23. 2 and 3 is 5. 5 plus 7, because we had the 7 here, right? So 19 plus 4 is 23. 2 plus 3 equals 5. 5 plus 7 equals 12. 2 plus 1 equals 3. Okay? So that means that she is a model number 3 female. Now I can do this time and time again with other females, and they're going to be different models of female. Let you know that there are different models of species of people. Okay? Y'all see that? So now, this is a model 3 human being. So we got a model. Once we get a model, we know her element. Okay, so her element is also that she is fire. So off the rip, we know that she loves to be having candles. She loves to buy candles, be around candles. She loves to sunbathe. She loves to be out in the sun. She loves to be in the sauna. Anything to do with some heat, she like it, as far as it being a candle format or it being just out basking in the sun. Okay. But she's also a very smart person, very mental, can be a little bit of an overthinker. Know this off the rip just by the model. Now let's keep going. Now, from a health standpoint, based on this, we also know too that this fire could be a problem digestively. So now this person could be prone to liver, gallbladder, and pancreas issues or blood sugar issues. Spiritually, self-control issues can become a problem, okay, in you. All right. Now the other fire is boom here. So in the consciousness. So now we understand that this is the mental aspects of life. So the nervous system, you can be prone to anxiety and multiple sclerosis and just nerve twitches, period, or muscle spasms and all this different stuff up in here, mood swings and sleep issues and blood and circulation issues and all that type of stuff up here, right? Can be an issue because of the fire. But spiritually, some attachment issues could also be there. All just simply for that. And we just not get started. We still ain't even tracked the goods yet. So 921 to 1021 makes this person a Libra. Okay? 921 to 1021 makes this person a Libra. Okay? Now, we know that that's a Libra, so now we know that the first sun sign, a Libra, is an air sign. Now, when the sun is in Libra in the southern hemisphere, where is it at in the northern hemisphere? It's in Aries. So now that's quantify another fire. Okay, so she is a fire, air person. So now it's letting me know that not only was I pretty accurate on those fire element issues, but now we also have the air aspect. So she is prone to autoimmune diseases, respiratory issues, immune system issues, lung issues, all of that due to the air element. Okay. So she could be one to get infections and colds and flus all the time because of that air element being there. But that's because of the two sun signs. Now, where is she? Let's locate her. We got a destination right here because this is what she got to come back to is the Libra in her. So being 1994 and this 2025, we're gonna give her to say that she's 30, going on 31. Okay. So now we got a 30-year-old Libra. So you say 10, 20, 30, right? So she right here, but because she's about to be 31, we'll put in the Cancer. We'll put in the Capricorn, I'm sorry. So boom, we just tracked her. So she's right here. Now her whole job is to make it all the way back around here to here. So she's in Capricorn. So what's been happening here is because she's also in a transitionary period. So this is a transitionary period, okay? Everybody has them. So 10, 20, 30. So between 25 and 35 years old, you've been going through some stuff going on with where you want to work at and also where you want to live at as far as your traveling. Okay, Coco, cooking with Dominica. Since 25 years old, you've been trying to figure out where you want to live at and where you want to work at. I think it's some stuff going on right there. Y'all see her cooking with the niggas. So there you go. All right. So that's what that is right there, right? So we already got that. So now we understand why you've been dealing with that. So now we get it now. So now instead of you having to be guessworking about why is this going on in my life and I don't know why and I can't understand why. Now we can understand that now. He just told me from 25 to 35 that I was going to be thinking about traveling and where I was going to live at. I'd be doing a lot of moving around. And then my job was going to be a thing as well. But then right now, though, you're finna get settled on in. So because this was from 25 to 35, you got 4 more years and then you'll start settling in with that career. Okay? Work is the thing. Yeah, I already know because that's where you at. You on the Capricorn is about the work. It's about, but you're so big on this legacy thing of yours, this leaving behind this good public image of yours right now, that work or whatever you're doing for work is going to be a big thing for you. Okay? It's just that's the part of life you're in. All right. So, and you're going to be there, these things for 10 years, right? So you crossed over into that Capricornian state at 30. You're going to be there till you're 40. So you just look to be dealing with that legacy part of you, okay? That legacy part of you. That's what's going on right now. All right. So we got that now. We already talked about all of these different aspects that you can have, the grief and the depression, the autoimmunes, all that stuff, the digestive system issues, the nervous system issues. We talked about all of that. Now let's get down here to the good part, the foods and the herbs. So what we like to do is to understand that opposites of things and also the consistencies of things, they must go coincide. So because you have a fire element condition, these things also have color codes to them. So the root chakra is always represented as the red chakra. The sacral is always represented as the yellow or the orange, depending on which one you're seeing. The solar plexus is always represented as the yellow or the orange, depending on which one you're looking at, as far as charts are concerned, right? So these are the reds, the yellows, and the oranges. Okay, the reds, the yellows, and the oranges. The air is always the green. Okay, and this is where you get your chlorophyll and stuff like that from these colors, right? And then the thyroid to the pituitary gland is the blues and purples. And we know that blues and purples are always going to be good for nervous system issues and with cancer fighting issues. And all of this is going to be in particular to this particular paradigm. What we don't understand about cancer is that cancer predominantly is going to be caused because of the endocrine system. When you're overflooded your blood system with chemical things telling the body to do growth factors, then you have this uncontrollable division of cells. Okay? And one of the key components to your endocrine gland is going to be your pituitary. So them blues and purples and all of that stuff, that delusion and that loneliness and that third eye, right? It's very conducive not only to your spiritual walk, but also to your physical walk as well. If somebody understand what I just said right then. Okay? If y'all just got that right then, right? So that third eye, that pituitary gland, this is where the cancer comes in as delusion, the deluge. The flood did not happen on the planet like you think it is. It happened in your eyesight. The flood, you can't see. It's the veil. Come on, somebody. I hope y'all get what I'm saying. The flood, you can't see. It's the veil. You see what I'm saying? So now, the foods for this young lady. If this young lady is dealing with air conditioning, green foods. The fire condition, we got two places. So we're going to do orange foods if you're dealing with digestive problems. Okay, we're going to do green foods if it's the autoimmune immune system issues. Okay, and then if you're dealing with nervous system issues, we're going to do the blues and purples. That's the foods. The herbs, this is where opposition comes into play. If you're dealing with an air condition, then we're going to give you the earth herbs, right? Something to stabilize that air condition. If you have a fire condition, then we're going to give you some water herbs, okay? Something to stabilize that fire condition. And this is why this system is the top system on the planet, okay? And this opposition that you get is going to be able to put the fire out from any of these conditions that you're dealing with, period. Not only that, once we identify which issues you are dealing with, then we know if it's self-control. We'll know if it's attachment issues. We'll know if it's grief and depression. Okay, and you won't be able to do nothing about it. Y'all get what I'm saying? If you guys want to come up on the channel, you can as well. Okay, if y'all want to come up on the live, you can. We're live on Insta. I mean, we're live on TikTok, and we're live on YouTube, you guys. So y'all can go on over there. All right. Now, what else does she need? We got your destination, we got your current location, we got your foods, we got your herbs, we got your spiritual tendencies, your physical tendencies, your activities will tell you to manage your spiritual health, manage your mental health. How you would do that is you would do more deep breathing techniques and you would do more sweating activities. You want to get your body to sweat more. That's going to handle that mental fire. Okay. And then we're also asking you to start to really consider deep breathing techniques because that'll handle those air conditions. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now you see that, right? Now you get a little bit more information with the payment, but that's just kind of what you gonna get in a nutshell. Obviously, you're gonna get this diagram as well, so you can start tracking yourself around that clock, and that's what you want to do. Don't be scared, y'all. Request, hear your mind, but yeah, you know they scared. It's all good. It's all good, man. I really just want to be able to teach you guys the system first and foremost, right? And once you understand the system first and foremost, then you can be able to understand the value that it brings to the people that is in the hands of. I know it may be scary to feel like, oh, okay, well, I don't know if that's gonna work for me, and I don't know if it's this and if it's that, and this, that, and the third. Give it a try and you'll get your seat because it's not me no more. You're bypassing the person and you're going toward an ancient calculation that has been working since the beginning of time. It's called IOTRO mathematics, okay? But at the end of the day, if you ain't up on that IOTRO mathematics, if you don't understand that, and in the nutshell is medical astrology. At the same time, you could not be a physician without understanding the movement of the nature. And so what we're doing is bringing that back. That's all. We're bringing it back. Never scared, just ready to learn how to live long and healthier. That's it, man. The first thing to do is you must remove the veil. Okay, like I said, everybody's living in the deluge. Okay, the deluge is delusion. Okay, we're having this watery concept. Seeing through the glass, foggy, right? The way you're thinking that this perspective is the right perspective to have. Okay, it's all about perspective. If you really want to enjoy this dynamic, you just got to understand the change of perspective. It's all about perspective. And perspective, I can show you guys over and over and over again. Y'all keep tapping the screen. Let me give y'all some real good stuff right here. Y'all know y'all got me going now when y'all start. I start talking to you now. Yes, sir. Hold on real quick. Okay, so down right there say what? Awareness. The third eye says awareness right there, right? YouTube, I'm showing them a chart right now about the chakras. The third eye say awareness on that one right there, right? Now watch this one. And you'll see that third eye, that pituitary gland, that cancer, the endocrine system, the growth factors. Them the ones we gotta be careful about. You see that? Perspective, perception. Okay? Third eye, perception, how you perceive things. Perspective, how you see things. Your perspective. You got Stephen A. and you got all these people out here giving their perspective, their commentators on life and what they believe this thing is all about. What's going on with you guys, right? So you see, that's what this is all about, right? So what we got to first get you guys to understand when you're in this physical paradigm is to change your perspective about the durability of the physical body. Yes, it can go a long time with the pressure. How much more can it go with the relaxation? But you can't relax in this paradigm until you change your perspective on which one are you going to be dependent on, nature or yourself. If you depend on yourself through this paradigm, you're going to struggle and you're going to run out of gas. Anybody else? I'm tired of talking. I could have just stopped right there. I could have thrown the pen down right there and been gone, but I got 40 more minutes to chit chat with y'all, all right? So that's really what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? You can be in this paradigm and do you're going to run out of gas. If you can come into this paradigm and learn to ride nature and to ride the contentment wave with nature, and so that you can live in this paradigm a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more slow breathing, a little bit more content, a little bit more nonchalant, a little bit more chill, a little bit more laid back, a little bit more assured, a little bit more comforted. I find that the most religious people are the ones dealing with anxiety. The people that in the church house ain't got no problem with pork. They got a problem with worry. Okay? The people that's in the church house ain't got a problem with pork. They got a problem with worry. And to be in religions the way you're supposed to have faith and have high worryation right alongside you, that's so you're so stressed and worried about things that you're actually on medication for it. Talking about you got faith. You don't. And that's why we got to find this contentment back in nature. And this contentment is to know where you are, to know thyself. And for your funky, measly little $50, that's what we feel like we're providing. The most effective, quality assured way to get you back into health, considering all of the parameters that it takes to do that. And so far, what it takes to do that is to get you back in tune with nature, is to get you back in time with nature. You out of time. So it's hard to fix a problem with a person that's out. You understand me? And so if you're out of season, if you're out of tune, if you're out of time, then we have to put you back in to mama's womb. To get you reacquainted and recalculated and recounted. Oh, you here now? Okay. Well, you know how we feed you. Get on back in. You know what we do. You know what we do here. So it's that prodigal son mentality of you coming back and being able to be in tune with this, okay? So that's what you're getting. That's the best thing that I can offer as a herbalist, as somebody who's a connoisseur of the holistic teachings. The best I could offer you is what you're seeing today. Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody got questions? Okay, we can tell by disease what's going on with your life, okay? We can tell by disease what's going on with your life. So if you're dealing with a disease, you want to put it up here. You need to know the spiritual things going on, okay? Okay, so I got about 27 more minutes. I could just stay there if that's what y'all want. But you need to know the spiritual things that's plaguing you, that's causing your diseases. Yes, Danny, glad that I did too. We can live our best life. I'm telling you, look, fibroids, right off the rip, you still got some trauma. You got trauma down there, CJ Bay. Okay, guilt and unforgiveness. There's some guilt and unforgiveness going on. Whether you feeling guilty because you can't do this or do that, or whether somebody did something to you, okay, you're holding on to that guilt and unforgiveness. Okay, yes, guilt and unforgiveness. And I'm gonna tell you another thing too to watch out for: delusion and loneliness. Anytime something is happening to the reproductive system, the pituitary gland got something to do with it. Anytime something is happening to a growth factor, a cancer in your body, the pituitary gland got something to do with it. The pituitary gland is also a part of eyesight as well. Okay? It's the perspective. So delusion and loneliness and guilt and unforgiveness would be the two things spiritually that I would tell somebody who's got reproductive problems. You got to regulate your hormones by doing what I just said. Relax. Gallbladder removed, that's not a disease. I mean, you removed your gallbladder. Prostate is the same thing, okay? Guilt and unforgiveness and delusion and loneliness. And y'all gonna see how many times I say that when they start showing their diseases. How do we regulate our hormones, our gut health? You regulate your hormones by what I've been telling you, harmony. Hormones is another word for harmony. Look at the word harmony. I don't know who told you it was hormones, but that's harmony. So the harmony must be between the lower self and the higher self. You must get this contentment. You can't regulate your hormones because that's what I've been trying to tell y'all about the endocrine system. The endocrine system, you're flooding it with stress hormones. All of this adrenaline, all of this cortisol, all of this estrogen, testosterone, okay? All of this, and you're not getting enough dopamine and serotonin. Well, you're probably getting too much dopamine, but not enough serotonin and oxytocin and some of the stuff that is some of that feel good but at ease type of stuff. But dopamine is more sympathetic, right? So in order to balance your hormones, you must also balance your harmony. That's contentment. That's rest, relaxation, sleep, and meditation. That's how you balance a hormone. Okay, what else? Rheumatoid arthritis, Danny Posley. Rheumatoid arthritis, symbolically, spiritually, it means that you're dealing with stress and anxiety and worryation and day to day, like you live in check to check. Okay, a lot of people that are dealing with that are living check to check, and a lot of them as well is. And what I'm saying is that it's an anxious life, right? Where you're on the go all the time. Okay, so stabilizing yourself is the skeletal system is about the stability of the body. So spiritually, when you have problems with the actual stability structure of your body physically, then that also means you're having stability problems spiritually. Okay, spiritual stability problems, right? And that could be due to, again, stress, fears of what kind of sort. It could also be because it's rheumatoid arthritis. It could be due to some grief and some depression and some sadness and some loss that has happened in that person's life as well, Danny Posley. Okay, so those would be the two main one, and then the third one that I would suggest you look into is doubt and trust issues. Is the person very untrusting? Is there very are they conspiracy theorists? Okay, a lot of times when we can't trust, that's going to also deal with our arthritis, our thyroid, and it'll throw our harmony. That's why I put these up here. These are your harmony glands. These are your harmony emotions that you got to handle. Otherwise, they become demons. They're the seven deadly emotions. Anybody got another disease? You tell me the disease, I'll tell you the spiritual issue. Because that's what y'all need to know. See, when you're going to church, if you don't know the demon's name, that demon ain't gonna leave. Ain't no demon named sin. So you got to call these demons by their name. And an attachment demon needs to be called by his name. Attachment issue. Get yourself out of here. A guilt or unforgiveness demon needs to be called by his name. A fear or anxiety or worry, that's a demon. It needs to be called by his name. Glaucoma and eye issues. See, that's what we're trying to say. See, Rose and Lady Friend, thank you for participating. Run's Lady Friend. Thank you for participating. Glaucoma and eye issues, right? Spiritually, automatically lets me know that there were some perspective changes that happened. Delusion and loneliness. Water over the eyes, meaning that there was a perspective that had got lost way before your actual eyesight got gone. Okay? Where you were stance on some things totally different from other folk, right? And you believed in it this way. And that's the pituitary gland, the third eye. But because your third eye has spiritually been clouded, then we know spiritually you've been dealing with delusion and loneliness for a long time. Run's Lady Friend. For a long time, dealing with loneliness, that sense of loneliness. Okay? And loneliness been plaguing you, but it's been delusion. You ain't really been lonely. But life make you think that. And so now glaucoma has become the issue. And you can see Run's Lady Friend said true. Okay? So there's no need for me to bring this up and try to That's why we showing it to you, to let you see that this stuff is real, that we know how to do. Okay, it's real. Release it by name. How? By deep breathing. No, you call it by its name. If it's grief, you call it by its name. If it's stress, if it's fear, if it's anxiety, if it's worry, if it's doubt, if it's trust issues, if it's attachment issues, if it's loneliness, if it's delusional, right? If it's grief, if it's depression, if it's self-control issues. These are the names of the demons. They got to be called by name. Did you open your eyes while eating meat? Uh, Definitely been feeling lonely. Yeah, and but that'll come back to bite you. See? And it's coming back to bite you now in the form of the eyesight. But the thing about it is that you're not lonely. You've been feeling lonely, but the reality of it is that you're not. And you know that part. What's going on, you guys? What's happening? What's happening, Jason? You tell me your disease, I can tell you what problem you got spiritually. All right. Thank you for the 100,000 likes, you guys. We appreciate you. If you guys are interested in your owner's manual, please go over and DM us, and we will get you the information that you need. All right. If you do already know how to do it, you can go to the website, type in email, and then you can go ahead and get your owner's manual for a measly, funky $50, man. You get your life changed forever. You get to have this at your disposal. You get to be the advocate of your own health. You get to be able to walk into these paradigms, understanding thyself more. You get to be able to be at the precipice of the journey that you want to be on, starting this enlightenment section. You get to track yourself around this life globe. You get to determine what you want to do and how you want to do about certain things. You get to put life back into your hands ultimately, and be able to understand that nature's journey, the light path, is the best path for you. Acid reflux is not a disease, unfortunately, okay? But I can tell you that acid reflux is due to stomach acid instability. And stomach acid instability is also going to lead to immune system instability. And immune system instability then will lead to me understanding that there is some love issues going on, Sabrina. Okay. There is some love issues going on because that's that's immune system, right? And so we know that grief and depression, okay, that grief and depression, all right, for the husband, grief and depression. So I don't know how long you've been dealing with acid reflux, but if you go up right before you start having the reflux, there may have been some sadness and some loss about something that happened in his life that's causing him now start having acid reflux. Sabrina said, yes, I can definitely see that. Okay. Yeah. He fell out with his mom and sisters last year. Okay. There we go. It bothers him a lot, I can tell. Yes, but now you can start telling that it's bothering him so much that it's bothering him physically. A lot of us don't understand that these things are rearing their head physically, but they're from spiritual stuff. Okay. Doretha, bottom line, diabetes, sweetie. I'm just going to give it to you how TI is. I don't play no games. Okay. Bottom line, diabetes is ultimately 100% a self control issue. You just don't know how to tell yourself no to your little sweet tooth. You don't know how to tell yourself no to your sweet tooth and to your starch intake and just to yourself, period. You want anybody with diabetes. Is not that you can't tell people no. You could tell folk no all day. You can't tell yourself no. People with diabetes give in to themselves way frequently than anybody else. Okay, so they have really compulsive, really addictive behaviors to themselves. So diabetes and blood sugar issues is ultimate. Outside of it being, something you were born with, then we have to go toward the parents. Is a big self-control thing that got to be handled. Because if you can't, if we can't get you to control yourself, then I mean, yeah, you will end up being on metformin and things like that for forever. don't know how to help. I mean, well, actually, Sabrina, I just helped you, but he would have had to been on in order for it to be like that. Like, wives looking for help for husbands is kind of obsolete because they're not gonna necessarily feel like you may know the best people in the situation. When folks know us, they think we can't teach them nothing. So the biggest thing to help your people is just to allow them to see me, allow them to hear me, allow them to experience me. Okay. And in that particular dynamic is where I win over the understanding of what's going on, right? And whether it's a win over just to educate and be allowed to be able to educate the person, is that's enough for me. Because the bottom line is, if he would have just heard that and been able to say, damn, what I'm saying, my mama done did or whatever situation was, and he came to that conclusion, then he would have been all in to help. You see what I'm saying? Pain from hip to ankle. Shooting pains is not necessarily a thing, but when you're having pain from ankle to hip, you got to look at, is that sciatica, right? So sciatica nerve pain, especially if it's shooting from your butt to the back of your foot, okay, that's sciatica. Sciatica is a nervous system issue. So this is going to be talking about rest and relaxation and your ability to do that. You're not doing that. You're sympathetic, right? Also, this is what we call a fire condition. So it's a nervous system condition. And we will provide you with a fire condition. We would obviously provide you with water herbs, which would be basically herbs that will offset that sympathetic nervous system aspect that you have. But also, I would ask you, have you been in a car wreck? Most sciatica patients have been in car wrecks and stuff like that, and don't know it's the vagus nerve issue going on. Okay, trying to open third eye. Should I stop eating meat? Um, I would say you should try to eat as clean as you would need to eat if you're trying to ascend, period. Okay, anybody else? You got a disease, we can tell you your spiritual things going on. All right. So again, you guys, $50, man. We get you this. You can DM us, and we'll get you everything that you need. We're coming live from South Africa here. We're going to be hopefully, man, able to teach this while we're over here and be able to get this world tour on, man. I'm really excited about what this information can do for us as a people. And I'm not talking about as black people, I'm talking about as a people, as a nation of people, like humanity, and I'm not trying to shit on healthcare. There's a time and place for all that type of stuff, but we can do that. Lolly, malignant colon cancer, okay? Any kind of colon cancer, okay? Any kind of cancer, period. All right, it's going to be grief and depression, okay? Grief and depression. So you can go back in time, Lolly. Right before the diagnosis, there was something going on: sadness and loss, grief and depression. Sadness and loss, or grief and depression, has been setting in that colon. Okay. Hernia. You remember I told you any kind of growth, right? Yeah, it's spreading. It's that grief and depression lately. Okay, so they need to get their owner's manual so we can mineralize that situation and kind of start to neutralize it. Okay, and you can just DM me and we'll get you started in the right direction. Menopause is not a disease, but it is talking about your hormones, right? And so we back here with pituitary gland, delusion and loneliness, and guilt and unforgiveness. Okay, Nikesia, the hernia, again, that's pituitary, that's growth, right? Growth and development. You're making your body grow something. Okay, edema, that's high blood pressure, right? So that's stressing over there. Anxiety and worry. Okay, got that salt content going up. So when your salt content get concentrated, it's telling the body to hold water so that it can saturate it, because your salt can't be too concentrated in the bloodstream. So you're sitting over there stressing, flooding the gates, and you ain't even ate nothing yet, and walking outside with a demon. You ain't even ate nothing yet. It's because of the stress. Liver enzymes are high. What that is telling me is because it's the liver, self-control issues. That's something you're doing that you ain't got no self-control over. Naomi, Parkinson's, okay? So Parkinson's is what? That's going to be an autoimmune issue, okay? But it's also dealing with the nervous system, right? So attachment issues and grief and depression, okay? Attachment issues and grief and depression for Parkinson's, all right? COPD, the same thing, grief and depression. Heart issues, okay? The heart issues is going to be attachment issues, all right? Attachment issues, okay? Attachment issues, also stress, anxiety, and worry, okay? Also some self-control issues, okay? And I'm going to say some doubt and trust issues as well for heart issues, okay? Hair loss is not a disease. So these are symptoms, okay? But hair loss, okay, you got to look at what hair loss is. Okay, so this is a growth and development situation. The pituitary gland. So delusion and loneliness, okay? Delusion and loneliness and guilt and unforgiveness can cause the hair loss, okay? Delusion and loneliness. Chronic migraines is not a disease, okay? It's a symptom. But we can tell that it's some attachment issues going on, okay? Attachment issues, nervous system, okay? And then also some self-control issues. So you want to look at your gut while you're trying to deal with your brain issues. Look at your gut. Runs, lady friend, amazing. Yeah, I'm just giving them a piece of what God gave me. How do we let go of the grief and depression? Call the demon out by the name. So when you're praying, now you must say grief and depression be out of my life. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. When y'all are praying and when y'all are saying shit, you're not calling the demons out. You just think that you can just say everything, forgive me for my sins. That doesn't work in demon and possession and getting demonic things out of you. It doesn't work. You got to call these things as though they were. You see what I'm saying? So when I'm giving y'all these names, these are the names of the demons. You got to call them out by name. Because if you scared to say that you got grief and depression, then it's gonna stay with you. You unlock it by opening up your mouth. Yusuf Bey, Alzheimer's is the same thing we just discussed. Okay, attachment issues, right? Attachment issues, and also grief and depression. Okay, because Alzheimer's is an autoimmune. So you got Alzheimer's and you got the nervous system, right? So attachment issues, grief and depression, self-control issues. Anytime that you have a brain issue, you must go toward the gut. I don't care what it is. Alzheimer's, dementias, Parkinson's, if it's loss of memory, if it's hair loss, if it's anything to do with the head, you must go here. The brain-gut connection, autism, all that stuff. What do you mean when you say attachment issues? Led by your own wants, needs, and desires. You can't let what you want go. You understand it? I agree with you. Yes. Then you just open my door and set me and my family free. Yeah, that's it. That's what this is all about, you guys. All I'm trying to do is show you what I know, but show you where I got it from. That's all we're trying to do, man. I told you, Obey 007, if your liver enzymes are high, it's self-control issues. There's something you're doing you're not getting a control over, Obey. Okay? Self-control issues. The liver enzymes are high. Okay? I'm buying your plan. I'm in tears. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad that you was able to stop by the show. Yes, facts, Einstein theory. Yes, yes, yes. That's what I'm trying to teach people. This methodology is simple, but you got to be, this was sacred knowledge that was given to people who were initiated. So obviously, I can't just be just spilling the beans and doing this, that, and the third. But I'm here to tell you that it exists and that we have been able to rediscover it. And I'm blessed to be able to be chosen to show you the methodology of real holistic people. That you don't necessarily have to do this and do that. It's a connection so synergetically interwoven on this particular paradigm that you don't understand that's there, that you're playing a part in, but you're unaware of. And if you were just unaware of it, you would understand all of the giftings and all of the tools that you have at your disposal that you're not necessarily seeing because you are living with your eyes wide shut. And although you think you are hip and awoke and awake and all this other type of shit that you think you are because you are alive, you're only alive in the physical, not in the spiritual. So you can't get to enjoy this paradigm in the fullness thereof. Okay? But you don't have to die to get to heaven. There's a way for everlasting life, 120 years old. Okay? Got my own manual. Now I'm going to order herb blends. Yes. Owner's manual sounds like a game changer for sure. It's the best thing I could do. You know what I'm saying? When people are just sitting around trying to offer the world something, you know, you got to come up with the best thing that you can do. What's the best thing that you can offer? What's the best thing that you can do? You know, everybody always says to be this big business person or to be this big world impactor, you know, you got to solve a problem. You got to solve a problem, right? And it's like that's what we're doing. And that's what has been done already. But because it's been sacred, it wasn't given to the majority. Okay. So I said I need more herbs. Order more, you get more. You feel what I'm saying? Or DM me for more, you know. But it's that whole big understanding of solving the problem. Healthcare has been the problem for humanity since we've been here. Now we've always known that there was a double conundrum here. There was a meaning beyond us, which is why we even got religions, because they knew that the humans were spiritual. The humans always looked up as something else being here to their existence here. We just utilized that looking up and then we monetized it and that called it religion. But the looking up was in our people from the beginning. And it's in this looking up that they call it heave up, to call it heaven. And then a young man by the name of Tupac called it keep your head up. But it is in this looking up that allows you to understand that they're following the path of the sun. And in following the path of the sun is where you'll find your healing and the reciprocity that you need. And this ain't no hocus pocus, bamma jamma, whammy bammy. This is real deal Holyfield. Just give me an age. Somebody on here real quick out of 130 of you guys. I want somebody that don't know me. Don't give me your birthday. Just give me matter of fact, give me your birthday. Give me your birthday. But I want somebody Zo Silk. Zo Silk say 40, man. Zo Silk. 40. What's your month, pimp? Zo Silk, what's your month? Or you, I mean, you know, if you know your zodiac sign. I want somebody brand new, man. Zo Silk. So October. So October, is you a Libra, Zo Silk? You a Libra, Zo Silk? Okay, so we're gonna clock Zoe Silk real quick. I'm gonna clock you, Zoe Silk, real quick. Look at me real quick, Zoe. Okay, Zoe right here. 40-year-old Libra. So that's a Libra right there, right? So 10, 20, 30, 40. So Zoe really finna be 41 this year. So Zoe is in the Aquarius of life. Okay. So in the Aquarius of life, this is a very social aware time. So Zoe is in the winter, right? The winter of life. Now, my suggestion is, and my recommendation, and my understanding is that the first 40 years of Zoe life has been very spiritual things, right? Things that this ain't necessarily been the best time. Coming up in the fall and the winter is a very rough time, especially as a young person. Okay, so it's been more of a spiritual stuff been happening, more some things been going on from so 10, 20, 30, so around 25 to 35, so 25 to 35, you yourself were going through some transition, trying to figure out where you was going to live, okay, and then figure out your career. That's what happened between 25 and 35, okay? Right now in this Aquarian age, you have been really, really looking for how you wanted to give back. I mean, your social awareness is on point. I think that you should be very good at technology. If there's some things that you want to do as far as AI and technology, you're probably right on tune with that. Okay. Also, right now, you've been very interested in some kind of community involvement or humanitarian give back, right? So that's what you've been doing. But look, you're going to be there for 10 years, home. So look, you just now got into that, and I'm gonna tell you how long you've been into it. This year, just for a year or so. So don't still say hell no. Hey, look, just for a year or so you've been on this shit. You don't even know why. Okay? Because you just coming out your career thing here in Capricorn. So then when Aquarius came, when you turned 30 and shit, you like, man, you know what I'm saying? I finna got down, time out. I want to turn. So I said, dang, dude, you good. Hell nah. But you know what I'm saying? So that's why, but look, you're gonna be there for another 9 years, homie. So you set into your Aquarius. Okay? You set into your Aquarius, all right? And just off the bat, we understand where you at. You're in the winter season of life. You're in a more spiritual time than physical. You want to make sure that you're conserving your energy. Whatever you do, try to bring things closer to you. So I don't know if you're working from home right now, but you probably got an opportunity to work from home through your technological abilities. Okay? But you want to bring things to you, conserve your energy as you go through the winter time, bro. Bring life to you. This is your magnetic moment, not your electrical. Okay? So focus more on bringing things to you in the next couple of years so that you don't exude so much energy so that you can enjoy this spring and summer. Because if you exude energy in this fall and winter when it's telling you to relax and rest more, then you're going to burn out in the spring and summer months and you won't make it around to 120. So now you see how important it is to know that your health, not only physically but consciously, is just as important, right? So we got this duality. So now you know you're in this spiritual time. Now you got to try be more spiritual conscious in this spiritual conscious time. Because if you use your physical in the spiritual, you're gonna burn out when you get to the physical. You need to use your spiritual in the spiritual and half it. Or either use your spiritual in the physical, physical in the spiritual, depending on the situation. It's the balance. Okay? It's the balance. Now, just like that. Now, all you do for a little funky measly $50, you'll get this chart where you can keep on charting yourself around. Remember that each of these is 10 years, homie. So 10 times 12 is 120 years. If I can teach you how to walk into 120 years upright, you'll have the keys to life. Because if we can get to 120, we can start getting to 240, 360, and ultimately everlasting life in the physical, everlasting life in the body, everlasting life in the spirit, everlasting life within this paradigm in which we know. The only nemesis to the people before me is that the gurus did not value the physical body as much as they needed to. So they deprived it. They fasted it away. They starved it away. And so when it's time to come back, they entered the spiritual. You left the body, but you ain't got nothing to come back to. Y'all didn't get that. But if you know anything about spirituality, y'all would have got that right then, okay? Because I just gave you a nugget right then, okay? The trick is you got to be able to preserve the body. If you guys are interested in your owner's manual, please DM me. We'll get you all the information that you need, man. I love you guys, man. I appreciate all of the 100,000 likes, man. If you know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that need this information, we can really, really help them. I appreciate all of you guys for following us over here to South Africa, man. We're going to continue to keep busting you guys upside the head with this hot banger boogie. I love you guys. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Please go tell somebody about your homie HerbMan. And until next time, love HerbMan. All right, peace, peace, peace. Peace to you guys on YouTube as well, man. We love you.